Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. 1 year of Pod and Deliver. Jacob, welcome.
Hey, 1 year. That's went by pretty fast for me.
Yes, it did. And as I was thinking about the year, we thought we would revisit once again our very first video, which was on the book 84 Charing Cross Road. We have our interview with our mother, but I thought we would take a look. We both talked about taking a look at the movie. 1987 movie, director David Jones, starring Anne Bancroft, Anthony Hopkins, Judi Dench. Why would all this star power come together for this movie, the source material? It's that good. And it's a quiet book, but there's a lot there. And when you see the movie, I think it's a pretty faithful adaptation of the book. And normally we think about in terms of what's better, what's worse. To me, I look at this movie and I think this is a good companion to the book because it sort of gives you the flavor of it visually. You appreciate the book better. You can look at both of them and appreciate them. And it captures two of the things I like best about the book. Now, we can see Helene Hanff. It's a given. She's great. Her character is great in the book and in the movie. But it captures, for me, two of the things that are very essential to the book. One, the sense of giving of Helene Hanff. We see the parcels arriving. So to take a step back, this book and movie is about a correspondence, a relationship between Helene Hanff, the writer, and the bookseller Frank Dowell in England, and the years that ensue, the relationship that they build, and the kindness of Helene Hanff as she orders these books, as she sees the lack in post-war England, and her generosity as she's sending them parcels. And you see that in the movie. You know, you see the delight that they get the eggs and the meats because they're not receiving that. I really appreciate that in the movie. And the performance of Anthony Hopkins. I mean, the guy can just do anything. I've never disliked him, I don't think, in anything. I can't think of one movie I thought, well, he didn't really add much here. He really captures the generosity of Frank, not the generosity, Helene Hanff generosity, the gentleman-like nature of Frank Dowell. And you know what? How do you capture a gentleman? That scene in the movie where he's just sitting there reflecting, thanking his wife for the quite delicious meal. And that's it. Could the movie be made today? Who knows? Because it's not a explosion on the screen, but it's a lot of empathy and loyalty and kindness, years of friendship. Highly recommend the book and the movie. What is your take on it?
Oh man, you did a good job there. I guess the one thing I would add is, and you mentioned the actors, Anne Bancroft. I think was such a perfect choice. She's so New York. Her husband produced this film, and I'm sure they had those conversations like, we got to do this, you know, and I could see her being excited about it just because of her personality. And by her, you see her, you know, opening up letters, and she knows she's excited, and she's thinking about the next book she's going to go ahead and ask for, and she's looking at the books and she's smelling them, and that's what people do who love books. You know, they smell them, and you don't get that while reading it, but when you see it, you go, wow. Or when she wants, and you think, why does she go to New York? You see her at the dentist office back then paying like $4,000 worth of crazy work on her teeth, which is a fortune today, and even then, even more so. And just to see the time period movement, right, when it goes like from, you feel it like late 40s and the post-war, and then you see this. Suddenly you see the style change a little bit to the '60s, where the Beatles invasion, and then of course he, like you shared, he was such a perfect gentleman. He does films like this later on as like a butler, as a he does The Remains of the Day, and he did. I guess before this was The Elephant Man, right, where you see him just this really proper gentleman and just uh,
He,
intelligent.
people often mention him in terms of Silence of the Lambs and his
Yeah,
performance there,
right.
right? But they
Yeah,
forget what else he can do.
he could do so much. You're right, so different. And so having this, and then Judi Dench, I find out later that she got nominated for a BAFTA for this, for support, and she has a small role, but she plays the wife, and she doesn't have a big role in the book. Although towards the end, one of my favorite scenes is where she tells her, "I was a little jealous of you," and she actually did that and wrote that in the book, and they bring that up in the in the movie. Actually, this is actually based on the play that's based on the book, right? But the wife, you could see it was not so much like jealousy, like you took my man. It's more like, wow, I see that he connected with you. And he didn't connect with me the way he connected with you. Although of course, they loved each other, and his wife and Frank. But he did see that there was connections there with books and music, where she just didn't have that. But she loved her too, of course. They appreciated one another. And what we don't see in the book, what we have seen in the movie, is her actually coming to London. And I find out in other books that she wrote, she did check it out. She did check out the place where she sent those wonderful letters. And so it's nice to see it, and even the foods I mentioned in the mom episode, the pie, never powdered eggs, and there's also this Easter fruit cake, and I'm like, I never heard of that, but I'm sure it's common in England. But even the meats in the tins, that's exactly how they ate quite a bit, especially post-war, right? So anyway, it was fun. It was fun to see it. If you haven't seen this film, just like Ruben, I definitely recommend it. Great acting, and it pretty much goes line with the book, as Ruben shared. So yeah, I recommend it to our viewers.
As Ruben shared, I think you could say I'm right in front of you.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. As you shared.
Well, the other thing is, I will mention that one of the disappointments when we discussed with our mom in the discussion of the book is the fact that, yes, Helene Hanff never meets Frank Dewall in the flesh. They just stay in correspondence. But the movie handles that pretty well, I think. There's moments where they talk to each other through the letters, and they're facing each other. And I thought that was nice. I think it satisfies the reader who just feels that misconnection, that hope that these two people could meet. And I mentioned this in the discussion of the book, is that it's a platonic thing. It's platonic. It's just about people. It's about a customer, and it's about the bookseller, but also just those meaningful moments of friendship when you talk about life, when you help somebody in need, and it endures. The friendship endures. So I thought that was a nice touch that the movie added. And also, I mentioned this in our other discussion, but like you said, the smell of books, the way you pick it up. This is a teacher podcast, and I was reflecting this week as I saw the movie, and I have a student who does not like to read. He has said this several times because we have a silent reading period in class. But I thought, I can't force this on a student. You either love books or you don't. And I feel grateful that I love books, and I can relate to that moment when Helene Hanff gets the book, picks it up, appreciates the cover, those old school covers, right, and the craftsmanship behind it, the age behind it, and then we haven't even opened the book yet. What treasure is underneath those pages? So, or in those pages, it's.
I think that's why she even went to England, right? To get books, that she saw that they had a lot like that, wonderfully bounded books, and she went for it.
Yeah. Well, it's been a good year. I think it was worth going back to this book, and 84 Charing Cross Road. Read it, everybody. Talk about it, see the movie, and we will see you next time on Pod and Deliver. Bye-bye.